Engagement bait is an internet phenomenon that is more prevalent than ever. I think it's pretty obvious that the main target for this is the older demographic, or people that have slightly less experience with how the internet works. So it's not mainly just older people, this video will definitely help even the younger ones. Even I fall for this from time to time. It might be less often, but if something is extra personal or hits home enough, even the most perspicacious end up falling for it. This video will essentially explain the whole concept of engagement bait, how it works, the different types of engagement bait, and why it works so well. Essentially the psychology behind it. I'll also give some real life case studies to help visualize this emotion. And then at the end I will give you a whole guide on how to potentially avoid this in the future. You'll become an expert at spotting and avoiding interacting with these posts. At the end of the video, you'll think back and realize, oh wait, hang on. I fell for this exact thing this one time. Even the younger, more technical whippersnappers. So what is engagement bait? How would one define this concept? The Google AI definition is one of the most solid ones I found. Engagement bait is a manipulative social media tactic designed to artificially inflate likes, comments, shares or views. By essentially gaming the algorithm, creators artificially boost a post's reach to monetize it or build a fast following. It's a good definition, however it is still very surface level. It does not quite explain how deep this concept goes, and the nature in which this engagement bait end goal is actually achieved. One needs to first define the whole goal of why people post this engagement bait in the first place. I'll go over the goal, method, result and incentive engagement bait. The goal is essentially to push the post to the top of the social media's algorithm. The algorithm on social media pages essentially work by showing a post to more people and a wider audience, as more people will react and interact with it. Interaction essentially makes the algorithm deem the post more desirable for others. The method. The post is designed to incorporate the 7 main types of engagement baits, which I will go over in a moment. The results, one sees the posts, reacts emotionally by sharing, commenting or reacting, resulting in the post being pushed to more people. The incentive, mainly financial, of course it is. Platforms like X give payouts for successful engagements, regardless of if the nature of the engagement is negative or positive. This engagement can also be used to promote a different product. For example, I can create an emotionally charged post about 13 children that got crushed by a blue whale that fell from the sky. And on the same profile that I used to post this on, I'll have a link to my business venture. One thing to keep in mind as well is that people also get off by making people angry. They love and can't seem to help to stir drama. Essentially, it's the social media version of those supermarket chocolate and sweet displays at the checkout. A side-to-side example here showing an example of real news versus engagement bait news. I mentioned the 7 main types of engagement bait, which I'll go over now, and I bet you interact with at least 4 of them on a daily basis. The first example is outrage bait. This is content designed to make you angry, frustrated, or morally indignant. Common examples are, "Oh, they're destroying our country. This politician said something outrageous about your values." These posts often come with extreme political claims that are misleading or fake. This works because anger is one of the strongest emotions for the algorithm. People are much more likely to comment, argue, and share when they're mad. The second example is nostalgia bait. Content that essentially triggers fond memories of the good old days. Common examples are, like if you remember those days when we'd play outside as kids until dark. It'll be photos of old TV show, classic cars, things like that, and they tell you tag someone if you missed this and so on. This works as older generations feel that the world has simply changed too fast. These posts create a warm and emotional connection and a sense of shared identity. The third is fear bait, content that scares you about your health, safety or your family. Common examples are: this common household item is causing cancer in seniors. They're coming for your social security, or your grandkids are in danger from this new trend. Essentially fake health scares or exaggerated crime stories. This plays on your protective instincts, as they tend to kick in very hard, especially for grandparents. Fear creates urgency and essentially makes people share just in case it turns out to be true. This is a huge one as well coming up. Number 4, virtue bait. This is essentially content that appeals to moral or religious goodness. Common examples are: type amen if you love Jesus, share if you believe in traditional values, images of crosses, flags, soldiers, families, with captions such as only real Christians will share this. It essentially works by making people feel that they're standing up publicly for their beliefs. Sharing gives an instant feeling of moral satisfaction and belonging to a community. Number 5 is curiosity gap, or clickbait mystery as I like to call it. It's essentially content that withholds information to force you to engage. Common examples are: you won't believe what happened next, the one thing doctors don't want you to know about, only 1% of people can solve this riddle, and so on. This works because the human brain hates unfinished stories. We feel compelled to click and essentially resolve the uncertainty. Number 6 is relatability baits, content that makes you feel personally seen and understood. Common examples: for example, you're only from this area if you've come across this before, or you're not a real mechanic unless you've done this before. This essentially creates an in-group feeling. People engage as it feels validating. It feels like the post is talking directly to them. Number 7 is petition or share bait. It's content that essentially pressurizes you into taking immediate action. Common examples are: share this before Facebook takes it down, sign this petition to save millions of lives. This works because it uses social pressure and urgency, plus the feeling that sharing is helping. Many of the images used in these examples aren't real, and the cases they use are simply not true as well. So what is the psychology behind this? If you're enjoying this video so far, then please don't forget to click like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Why do the older demographic tend to fall for this a bit more than the younger people? One of the main reasons is the trust of traditional media, which would often engagement bait as well, but in a more thought out and professional manner. Older people tend to have a generally lower sense of skepticism online. It also plays on your emotional vulnerabilities, such as loneliness, concern for the grandkids, and the fear of the changing world. These posts also play on your dopamine by making you feel like you are in the known or part of a larger community. Boomers tend to see these posts more often, as their friends are often older as well, so they fall for it more often, which results in more of them being shown the same thing. The cycle of bait, essentially. It is also shown that posts with a strong emotional effect have 3 to 5 times more reach than non-emotional posts. Another factor is a lot of people were essentially raised to believe what they read, whereas a lot of the internet wasn't. So some real life case studies here. People often make posts with altered or fake statements from prominent leaders that are designed to cause outrage, and in turn result in an interaction with the posts. There are examples of this happening with pretty much all the world leaders. Another good case study is heart-wrenching emotional stories that are actually fake. These often incorporate AI videos and images. So for example, there's one here of a boy melting down Sprite bottles to make tiles for a floor. And people comment things like, wow, this boy's so ingenious. This poor boy has to melt down poor bottles, but he's still finding a way, and so on. There's another one here of a boy in Africa carving a sofa from a tree. And as you can see, it works very well. Wow, this child is a genius. Amazing. Beautiful. May God bless you. And here's another one of a little boy that's made a Jesus statue out of limes. I think that's limes there. 3.2k comments, 818 shares, 135,000 likes. This image, of course, is completely fake. But as you can see, this often plays very well to things such as religion and this absolute sense of virtue, that you're a bad person if you don't interact with this. I got another one here that plays on your sense of urgency. You must do this now, otherwise this will happen. This is essentially the classic Facebook is shutting down, say goodbye classic, and people comment goodbye. Engagement based successful. Or do this now before it's too late. Facebook will delete this post soon, please share before it goes down. I got an example of a thumbnail on YouTube here as well from this one guy. YouTube is auto-deleting nearly every comment on this video. So people will in turn click on a video, try post a comment to see if it actually happens, and of course YouTube won't delete the video, but this guy's engagement will go up as a result. So how do you spot and stop engagement bait? My 4 easiest ways here listed now. First of all, check the source. Is it a real news site or just a random page? The amount of followers doesn't indicate anything anymore. As I said earlier, these posts tend to have 3 to 5 times more engagement than actual real sources. Or you could simply search a written description of the image, for example, boy melts down Sprite bottles into tiles. So the first result here straight away, the post shares an AI generated image of a boy in a rural village melting down Sprite bottles over fire. So that instantly debunks it, just a simple search. If it instantly makes you furious or sad within the first 2 seconds, then wait and think about it a little bit first. Although I know that's easy to say but hard to actually do. If it ends with share this, like this, comment this, essentially forcing an action on you, or type amen or whatever, it's bait. So as a conclusion, it's not your fault. They designed it to work on good people who actually care. This is essentially psychological warfare that has been refined and tuned for decades into what it is now. I hope this helped you understand this concept a bit better, and you can share this to your boomer friends or people that you think are more susceptible to this concept. Next time you see the bait, don't just scroll, try teach someone.